I think they're waiting for, if given an opportunity to resist the thugs and the gangs and the criminals and the drug dealers, they want the alternative. So I think the vast majority of D.C. folks, they may not want to say it, especially if they're left of center, but under their breath and quietly, they would welcome a peaceful city where their friends and families can come visit.
What's going on, you guys? We have Sam Seder and Emma Vigeland roasting Laura Ingraham and Pete Hegseth. Laura Ingraham and Pete Hegseth, they are both just playing a part in D.C., getting completely taken over by Trump. Sam Seder is calling them out. Let's get into it.
Tough question of like, what's going on here? Why, when and I'm being a little bit facetious, she doesn't bring up the fact that crime...
She does.
At its low, she does.
At one point, she does. I mean, I listened to a little bit of it. But she was a little more skeptical than I thought. We can see if I remember that correctly. But yeah, she's at the very least skeptical of what Hegseth is selling here.
President's call, but we're going to be there for him to execute as swiftly as possible.
Will the National Guard be detaining Americans on American soil?
Under Title 32, which is the authorization they'll be using, they have broad latitude, but they're not going to be involved in law enforcement functions. They will be standing right alongside our federal agents like they were in Los Angeles. They're going to be proactive. If you take an action or a shot at them, there will be a consequence. So they're going to be strong.
So if a crime is being committed, in other words, and a National Guardsman sees a crime being committed, then what?
They can come alongside and assist law enforcement.
What if law enforcement isn't on that corner?
Then they will. I will have their back to ensure they can take the necessary action to protect citizens of D.C. and to protect themselves. So there's no rogue law enforcement going on from the National Guard.
Pause it for a second. Wait a second. Is the issue that Pete Hegseth is going to stand behind his guys, or is it that posse comitatus, like they're not allowed to do this? We're not allowed to have federalized National Guardsmen, in other words, federal soldiers, on the streets of a city making arrests unless it's explicitly to protect federal authorities in the process of doing their work. So it doesn't matter if he's got their back.
That was
They'll be illegal.
Logic. Yeah.
Replacing the
craziest thing is that Republicans are listening to this saying, hey, yeah, no, this guy is right. You know, Trump is really doing the right thing. I mean, they've literally done everything that the Republicans have said that they're going to do as far as like the far right conspiracy Republicans. I mean, we have tech companies spying on us nonstop, saying like they're not even denying it at this point. They have the freaking National Guard on the streets right here. They have all of our information, right? This is everything that all these conspiracy theories have said from the jump, right? So how is it now that they're somehow getting, siphoned into believe that, hey, look, this is a good thing. This is exactly what you wanted.
Constitution with common sense.
Exactly. It's called the Hegseth-tution. Go ahead.
But there's also the application of common sense. We're not going to have National Guardsmen sitting there like this, seeing a crime committed and not do something about it. You can help somebody, interdict, temporarily detain.
Well, pause it.
Like
wait. I mean, can we all be vigilantes?
Yeah.
Because if it is against the law for you to do that, then it's against the law for you to do it. It's no common sense. Common sense actually is you don't put soldiers in the streets of the city really in just about any circumstance except for an emergency. And common sense also says that if crime is at a 30-year low last year and it's down 26% from that 30-year low, common sense would say we don't need the National Guard there. In fact, we don't even need the 120 FBI agents walking around making God knows what they're making, trained in something completely different, walking around the beat at night.
Right. I mean, well, also, I think you were right. I confused it with that Fox and Friends clip. I don't think Laura Ingraham brings it up, but they brought it up in Fox and Friends just to hand wave it away to say, but it's not people's lived experience.
Well, yes, a barista, I know, said something different. So.
But what, like, it's just, wasn't Hegseth just talking about how the troops are too feminized and that they need to be killing machines, basically? It's just interesting now that they basically have them on UN peacekeeper duty and that they're not like allowed to do anything, but we're deploying these so-called newly masculine hyper-killing machines to the streets of DC.
And hand over to law enforcement. Those are the types of things the National Guard can be trained to do.
Do you guys have buy-in from any local officials in D.C.? I'm not saying you need it, but you can see where it would be helpful. Faith-based leaders, community leaders. Bowser, I think, is trying to walk a line there. She's probably the best mayor D.C. has had, which people think, well, how are you saying that? Because she's actually better than, I think, most mayors for the last 25 years in D.C.
I think she's walking a line of, as we talked about a little bit before the show, she understands the obvious. She understands the citizens of D.C. are sick of this kind of environment.
Right, sure. I'm aware that people are tired of crime. Thank you, Pete Hegseth. But what is Trump doing about that, right? He's cutting a lot of these nurturing programs, these programs that are for foster children, that are for children that may lead into a, more dangerous type of lifestyle, and he's adding more punitive measures, right? And we can see, oh yeah, I'm sure that's always going to work. There's literally a story of someone in Florida, his name goes by is Harris Rosen. Look him up. He decreased the crime rate, increased high school graduation from 25% to 100% by providing free daycare and scholarships to high school graduates. This is not one instance. Kids are raised not by, they're not going to not do the right thing because they're afraid of what's going to happen. They do the right thing because they follow by example. And whenever you're going to punish the people outright, whenever you're going to put the hands of these people into into the military at this point, the National Guard, which they don't, who knows what they feel in the moment, who knows what they describe as good and bad, right? No one knows because it's all up to these guys. And whenever you put the citizens in that way, it's not going to lead to anything good. It's just, talk about common sense. That is fucking common sense, Pete Hegseth.
I think they're waiting for, if given an opportunity to resist the thugs and the gangs and the criminals and the drug dealers, they want the alternative. So I think the vast majority of DC folks, they may not want to say it, especially if they're left of center, but under their breath and quietly, they would welcome a peaceful city where their friends and families can come visit and be safe.
And the National Guard going to be picking up these tents, so the homeless tents?
Oh, pause it, just in case you didn't follow. You don't have to take it down. Leave it up there. Just in case you didn't follow his response. The answer is no. There's been no buy-in by any leaders in D.C., except for people secretly in their homes, happy that the National Guard's going to be
When the mic's cut off on this show, we all talk about how safe we feel.
Exactly.
Homeless tents are all over the city. They're on K Street Tunnel. There are some dotting along the area here. There were more before. Some of them have been cleared out. Well, what about those?
We're working with the marshals and alongside them, alongside Park Police, alongside everybody else. Wherever they need the National Guard to assist, we're happy to be there.
Do you know where the homeless people are going to go?
That's not really my lane. Yeah. Our job is to stand alongside law enforcement. We'll do that.
Your job's to stand alongside law enforcement. So then what is the point?
Hey, man, we're going to need a lot of troops down here to deal with these homeless people. They're like an army.
I'm so glad we detrans the troops so they can stand around and watch.
We're just here,
DC.
Listen, we have to go in there and get those homeless. We've got to fight them with everything we have. I hope there's like a big pep rally.
Yeah.
Like sort of like a Patton type of situation where he's marching back and forth in front of a massive flag. And Hegseth is there and is like, when you see the whites of the eyes of those homeless people, that's when you attack. Now, unless, of course, you see white flesh, then, okay, take a beat. But if you see the whites,
there we go.
You go. I mean, this is just insane. It's just
There we have it, you guys. Sam Cedar, Emma Vigeland. Like, I'm not going to even bring race into it. I'm not going to bring anything like that into it. It comes down to, do you believe that if you're going to hurt, do you believe that you can hurt somebody into doing what you want them to do, right? And if you're going to do that, right, then what is the next step? Sure, if people who believe that, right? Oh, okay, yeah, well, you can hurt, you can build, you can get fear, okay, well then as soon as Trump leaves and the next person comes in, then they're going to do the same thing, but for whatever they believe in, right? And you're going to have to just follow that out of fear, right? Because you have to, right? Oh, no, that would never be me. No, Trump's not going to save you, right? He's not going to. It's clear that he's out here looking for his own back, looking out for his own interest, and like clearly, right? He wants to look out for himself, right? So he's not going to continue to punish these bad guys. It's going to be, this country is going to continue to punish whoever they deem bad. And you're going to lose any type, that's because it's just not the way to run it. You have the Democratic Party turning slowly into the conservative light party, where they're going to take on the same values, I guess, because they're not really grounded in any values. They're all grounded in this freaking capitalist greed system. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. So it's another day in the progressive way.